these young males courting. I think they're lucky there's no big male around. I think they're a bit too young to be courting females if there was a big male around. So, oh, having a little bit of a gallop, a play, a silly 5 minutes. So Brian is doing an outstanding job here, being a human tripod from the vehicle. Now there's a bull on the left who is old enough to be courting the ladies. But actually you see that little one doesn't like the male courting, which is probably its mother. Oh no, there's another, just some galloping giraffe. And when they're defending themselves against lions, they use those front feet in a very similar fashion, obviously kicking them out quite a lot forward. Oh, fun and games this morning. Full of the joy of life, these giraffes. And it's so nice to have a nice big group of giraffe that we're seeing so regularly around quarantine. Those two on the far right seems like they've spotted something on the other side of the clearing. Oh, he's more interested in the females, obviously not a predator. Now, giraffe mating is a very, very short process, over in a matter of seconds. And you probably find it's developed like that to help save the female from having to carry the huge weight of the male on her back for an extended period. It's literally on and off. There we go. I can see what those giraffe are looking at now. There's some wildebeest to the right of them. Here we go. Wildly beasts. Just gonna reverse. Oh, wait, here comes the herd. Such funny looking antelope wildebeest. You can see them stopping and rubbing their pre-orbital glands against that tree. A form of scent marking. Right, there's those lions calling again to the south, well south of our boundary. Those, I think, are different from the audio we heard earlier. Oh, looks like the wildebeest are about to have a silly 5 minutes. Very short little gallop there. Well, those two young male giraffe are going to have a bit of a play fight, practice fight thing there. It's very not serious. But here we go. You can see in very slow motion how they would fight. There we go. But obviously now speed that up and add great force to it. And that's what a giraffe fight looks like. Very, very slow motion, this one. And no real menace to it, more just playing between the two young males. And you can imagine with that long neck, they can actually build up quite a head of speed. And when they do hit each other, you can hear it from sometimes up to a kilometer away. She's looking for some leaves of that marula tree. And I think she's eaten all the low ones. What a peaceful scene here on the quarantine clearings. As we look at those two young boys at the back there, not really serious and not really hitting each other too hard, but Boyd in North Carolina was wondering what a giraffe's horns used for. They are used for fighting. Oh, look at this female. She's going to try use that long tongue to try grab those. There we go. You've finished everything else, madam. There's not much there left. So, Boyd, they are used for fighting in the males. They're used as battering rams to, with that long neck, swing at sort of high speeds, and they have been known to actually kill each other while they've been fighting and do some serious damage. It's an incredibly strong animal. Oh, there we go, reaching again. It's just too far. Oh. Got the dawn chorus going, crested francolins, Cape turtle doves, black-headed oriole, emerald spotted wood dove, there's two young boys again, still play sparring. Almost looks like they're dancing when giraffe fight. Probably snorting distance. Just going to have a sit up and see whether they're just snorting for snorting's sake or they've actually spotted something. Looks like they're just snorting for snorting's sake. Yeah, this females come very close to us. Two young boys stepping it up a little bit. Obviously, it is play or practice at the moment, but it will develop into quite a violent affair as they get older. Look how they're trying to trip each other. And as we watch these two youngsters spar, GJ in Southern California is wondering, do they ever break their necks when they are fighting seriously? That they do. It is uncommon, but it has been recorded before. As we watch these two boys play sparring, and you can notice that their horns are starting to develop. Ooh! Sorry, we can't, it's behind the vehicle, but there's some running. There's an amorous male chasing a female. Let's move and go see what they're up to. But while we're doing that, Thelma from West Dam in Michigan was asking, do females fight like males? No, they don't, Thelma. They don't have to compete for mating. Oh, it looks like we might get some bigger male-on-male action. So there's two males now showing interest in the same female. Just going to get us into the right spot. That was a very civilized takeover there. One just walked in between and the other walked away. So this male who is standing next to the female now, just sort of when that running started with the other male, which is, he's just off to the left, he just walked in between the two and saw off the competition. Oh, there we go, we can see he's just walking him off. Right, I think there's, oh, he's having a scratch. I think there's probably a female who's about to come into estrus, just judging from all the movement, the behavior around. There we go, he's seeing off the competition. Oh, he's saying hello to the little one. So when giraffe are active like this, which doesn't happen that often, they are a very fascinating creature to watch. Yeah, that beautiful chortle of a black-headed oriole. There we go. There's a giraffe snort, not something you hear too often. Oh, here we go again. One male moving in. Let's see what the other does. You can see him coming in from behind. Is he going to see off the would-be suitor? Yes, he is, in a very non-violent way. But if the would-be suitor didn't move away, you could find a little bit of more aggression. Oh, and another male that's just arrived behind me on the scene, but he's a bit younger than these two. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Silly 5 minutes, baby giraffe at full gallop. just for fun. Beautiful, cool morning. All the animals seem to be in good spirits. Oh, particularly that young giraffe. We've got two juvenile males there, sub-adults. Well, we often see giraffe when they're just eating or ruminating. You don't. Oh, off again. No, not quite. And Claire from the Big Apple saying, "Isn't it wonderful?" And she didn't realize how flexible their necks are and what such a wide range of movement they have. It is incredible, an animal like that size with that very strange shape. And here comes another young male. Are capable of such an array of movement. Let's see if he gallops back to mom. Is it a he or a she? I can't really see yet, it's a bit young. Where are my binoculars? It could be a she, and I need to wait for it to turn side on. Yeah, it's a she. Yeah. And those young boys on the spar again. So different young males arrived and started up with the sparring. Oh, let's see, we've got 3 giraffe. There, the youngster is 4, 5, 6, 7. I know yesterday in the middle of the day, I counted 13 giraffe on quarantine clearings, which is by far the biggest group I've ever seen at Juma. And these are part of that group. I think we had 8 so far this morning. There could be a few more around. I'm just going to try to roll forward so those giraffe aren't behind the bush. Yeah, and we can see the young males at the tops of the horns are already losing the hair, and that is from these games that they're playing at the moment. Hope you guys are getting some great screenshots. And that clicking is just me grabbing my camera, getting my version of a screen grab. And don't forget to post those on our WildEarth Facebook page, or just use the hashtag Safari Live if you're on Twitter. Ooh. You can also see not only do they go for each other's necks, they go for each other's legs. Obviously, it's probably a lot easier to break a leg than a neck on a giraffe. But again, this isn't very serious. And you can see how they widen their stance to become more stable when they do that. So they spread their legs a little bit. Oh, stuck in a tree. These were probably what we would call teenagers. just testing each other out. Practice for the big leagues in a few years. So with evolution, there's two, almost all evolutionary advancements are to do with two things. One is competition for food, and the other is mating. And for a long time, people have considered giraffes' long neck as a food competition thing. But there's quite a lot of new interesting research that is sort of disproving it. Obviously, it is an aid, but basically giraffes' necks have become longer and longer for sexual competition and for fighting. So the giraffe with a longer neck is able to draw more sort of momentum from the swing, and therefore hit harder than a giraffe with a shorter neck. So there's quite a big school of thought who's now thinking that the giraffe's long neck is far more for sexual competition than it is for food competition. It is beautiful. It is almost like a dance, a ballet. These guys keep getting their heads stuck in that terminalia. So, very serious fights will only really happen when a female's in full estrus and there's two big males, adult males around. And they can last up to an hour and 2 hours even. But normally they're over in about half an hour, 45 minutes. And the victor will take his mating rights, and the loser will just move off of the vanquished. See how they go for the knees, or what would be a giraffe knee. Oh, good one. Got in there, in between the legs, in the rib cage. And they're not hitting very hard. And we can see how flexible they are and how much movement they have. And Clay is wondering, would they band together to fight off a lion? I have seen it before, and especially if there's a young individual like the one that's here, which is sort of one of a lion's favorite foods, a bite-sized giraffe. They would band together and they would try to chase the lions away from that youngster. But like with buffalo, it doesn't happen every time. Sometimes they'll just run away. We're just going to move. Oh wait, no, they're moving back out the side. Trying to make sure they're not hiding behind the tree all the time. I think if we go forward a bit, we should get a better view. And hear the rusty bed springs of a Cokie Franklin calling somewhere in these little terminalias. So we've got a name we haven't heard before, so a very big welcome to Tasmanian Devil. I wonder if you live in Australia by chance. So welcome to Safari Live, and Tasmanian Devil is wondering, or could I just call you Taz for short, like the cartoon? Is wondering how we tell the gender difference in giraffe. Well, here we have two young males. If we look at their horns, or ossicones, which is the correct word for a giraffe's horns. The males do not, even at this young age, do not have hair on top of their horns. The horns are far more robustly built than the females, and that is for fighting. The females have a full sort of hair covering them, a full set of hair covering them, and are much, much more delicately built. Fortunately, there are no females in sight at the moment, just these two young males. The females have moved off. Coming down from that height and spreading your legs to have a drink of water, all that blood rushing down from a height into their brain would cause them to pass out. So I'm guessing that valve also plays quite an important role when they're fighting, to stop blood rushing to the head when it gets lower. So while we watch these two little guys, oh, there's a little bit of dominance ploy. You find that quite often in male animals in the bush. They will try and mount each other for dominance. But Anna Marie says she's watched some videos of giraffe fights that become very, very tangled, very, very brutal. And she's wondering, do their necks ever become tangled? Anna Marie, they don't. Oh, there we go, there's that little dominance ploy. I've never ever heard of a giraffe's neck becoming tangled. Broken, yes. Broken legs, yes. Broken ribs, but never tangled. So out here we've got lots of different animals, and Marie Ann's wondering, do giraffe ever chase vehicles like elephants? Well, Marie Ann, if you drive properly around elephants, they shouldn't chase you. And since I've been at Djuma, how many months now? 8 months? 7 months? With WildEarth, I've never been chased by an elephant or a giraffe, but yes, elephants do occasionally chase vehicles, but giraffe do not. And they would much rather move away than chase the vehicle. Well, looks like the sparring's slowing down a bit. And with teenagers like this sort of half serious, half play can go on for quite a long time. I think they're going to realize they've been left behind by the rest of the giraffe quite shortly, and then they'll probably just move off to join them. And this is quite a power play going on between these two. Each one keeps walking around to try and mount the other. Oh, I think they've just realized. Where's everyone? Oh no, but I can't lose. My turn. Oh no, you don't. I'm too fast for you. So at the moment, the giraffe on the right seems to have a deformed ossicone or horn or bent, and well done to Rick and Susie and quite a few others for noticing that. And that's probably a defect from birth, having a look at it through the binos. And you do see that sometimes with a lot of animals out here. I don't think it's going to negatively affect him at the moment. It might. Oh, there we go, a full mount. Serious dominance going on there. So, quite interesting, that ossicone, having a look. That looks definitely like a birth defect. I don't think that's happened afterwards. Round and round the garden. Getting dizzy watching these guys. Well, while one walks forward, one walks backwards. According to Jennifer in Toronto, it looks like a Texas two-step. I'm afraid, Jennifer, I have no idea what a Texas two-step is. Speaking of people from Canada, a little bit earlier on the Sunrise Safari, we met Judy, who's a regular viewer of ours who's staying at Arathusa at the moment. So we said a quick hello to her, and I'm sure some of you guys out there might know her. So we have quite a varied set of pregnancies out here in the bush, the elephant being the longest at 22, 23 months. And generally the bigger the animal, the longer the pregnancy outside of the primate world. Animals like us, for our size, have a very long pregnancy, and so do a lot of the primates, and that's to let the brain develop. So we've got far more cognitive function than most animals. But Charlotte from Denmark, who's also a new viewer, or new to asking questions at least, so welcome Charlotte, and please keep sending in questions, is wondering how long a giraffe's pregnancy is. And it is one of the longer ones, and what I'm going to do, oh, just hang on a second. Sorry, I thought I saw something behind those giraffe. Charlotte, I will get back to your question in a second. And when young males are doing stuff like this, if there are lions in the area, they can be quite vulnerable because they're not focusing on checking for predators. What was that? I just saw a very tawny shape move behind the giraffe on the other side of that little drainage line. I mean, most likely it's going to be something like a kudu or an impala, but it's definitely worth checking carefully. Did you see it, Brian? I mean, if it was a lion, there would definitely have to be, if it was a lioness, there definitely have to be more than one to take on a giraffe. Even a small giraffe like this would definitely have to be a pride. Although I have seen two males take on a huge male giraffe by themselves and succeed. they can actually break a lion's jaw, break a lion's leg, and it is quite a high risk animal for lions to hunt. And you do get prides that specialize in it. Actually, I think I can see that now, and it is a false alarm. It looks like a kudu that's just moved through. I can't just pass through very briefly, but it disappeared. But they kick very quickly, and we're gonna just finish on Charlotte's question, which I got sidetracked from, which was the gestation period of a giraffe. As I said, it's one of the long ones. It's over a year. It's 400 to 460 days. So a very long gestation. And speaking of baby giraffe, let's see what James has got.